That's a really interesting one. That swamp small key is the rare small key that literally unlocks the entirety of the dungeon. You literally can't do anything but one chest without that small key. Most dungeons, you're looking for a key count or for the big key, but okay, here we go.
And we're off, and in Link's house we find some money. Inside the sanctuary we find the compass to Turtle Rock.
All right, well, that money is definitely the more valuable of the two, unfortunately, but nothing too terribly promising in these first two opener chests. Seen a little bit of divergence already here. Looks like we've got two players, Kirby and Kyong, probably going for a Lamb play. While Mikan's going to go Uncle route here.
Interesting decision for mentosman, who ended up using those 50 rupees to go buy some bombs. We see both Kyong and SlimKirby. They're going to go do the Houlihan strats.
Yeah, I mean, getting those early bombs from that shop, definitely not a bad play. It's not one that I've seen before, but, this makes sense. He's going to go ahead and do the South Shore route immediately. So he's going to need those bombs for getting into and completing the mini Moldorm cave.
And our first key we see from the uncle turns out to be the small key to Turtle Rock.
All right. We're going to be looking for at least 3 of those to be able to complete the dungeon if necessary. Logically, we require 4 to full clear.
Yeah, it turned out to be the case in one of the races earlier today, where it turned out to be a small key to Turtle Rock that sent a few of our runners going all over the place.
Yeah, one interesting thing about the current version of the randomizer is that it's actually possible, for keys to be in places where they're only blocked by themselves, right? So I think we actually had a case earlier where we had a Turtle Rock big key in the Turtle Rock big vanilla big key chest, which is always interesting. That one is actually accessible with a pot key, but it's always a little bit trolly when that sort of thing happens to you.
So we're going to go see Kyong take the trip through the race game. Oh, the Bombos. That's a good result.
Definitely. Possibly one of our 2 medallion requirements, and also gives us access to Ice Palace.
Moon Pearl inside the Thieves' Den, and we do see the big key for Swamp Palace in the mini Moldorm cave, a small key that turns out to be the small key to Dark Palace, heart container, as well as a bomb upgrade. But the big thing, each of our runners have found something interesting at this point. Mikan has found the Moon Pearl, which is in the Lost Woods. So these guys are going to go ahead and find that at some point in time. Oh, hookshot in the back of the tavern. And we see Kyong going ahead to go buy some bombs, and so too will Mikan and mentosman heading on over towards the Ice Rod Cave. Let's see if something good inside this cave. And the flute. So mentosman will not have to make a trip back to the village to activate the flute. That actually turns out to be a big route saver.
Yeah, that definitely works out well for him. Pretty ideally. And I'm sorry I had to disappear for a second. My neighbor decided it was a good time to ring the doorbell, so.
Don't they know you have stuff going on, like randomizer commentary, things like that? The well has the cape.
I tried posting the commentary schedule on the front door, but apparently they just didn't appreciate it.
And half magic also. So cape and half magic.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting combination, because by the logic, having both of those safeties is going to give you access to Spike Cave.
And it turns out blue mail was the other item inside the Lost Woods where the mushroom normally is. And inside the thieves hideout here, we're going to go ahead and find some rupees. We're going to find a key. This is another small key to Turtle Rock. So 2 of those small keys has now been shown.
Yeah, getting very close to full access to that dungeon once we have all the other prerequisites.
At least the seed is being nice as far as the hearts are concerned early on in this seed.
Absolutely. Hopefully that doesn't mean they're going to be, stuck with. Oh, I see two of our players have blue mail, so we're going to be just fine.
Yeah, and the other two are going to get that blue mail as soon as they make it into the Lost Woods.
Very, very nice. So we do have to start thinking, I think, about when these players are going to make their way up to Death Mountain. A lot of times it's tempting to wait until you've got Dark Death Mountain access as well, but with that early flute available and that hook shot, there's a lot of item locations available to you up there.
Yeah, mentosman right now is the only one who has the knowledge of the flute is within logic at this point. Heart container was what was in the library. So Kyong will go ahead and pick up the Moon Pearl. That's the last stop for Kyong, and now SlimKirby heading into the Lost Woods as well. mentosman going through the well. And don't forget, mentosman ended up doing South Shore area first. So mentosman is going to be cleaning up the remainder of the village while the other guys are going to be heading on over towards South Shore.
Yeah, that South Shore first play is not one you see a lot of people making, but certainly there's no question that in this particular seed, it was pretty much ideal. He was able to full clear it, and being able to activate his flute on his first trip through here is pretty fantastic.
So Slim heading on over, and we'll say goodbye to the pink Kirby for now because the blue mail will turn it blue.
The infamous blue Kirby.
I'd love to see a lighter shade of blue with that. I'm gonna go ahead and see what we can get from the crab here, or the butcher here, and hey, we get some red rupees, which is a nice find.
Yeah, that is a nice prize pack to be getting from those guys. That's a very, very helpful farm. There are a few of those crabs around, and we're going to be walking past another one momentarily, depending on the routing here. So,
speaking of routing, we have Kyong heading on over towards Gina early on.
Yeah, now this is an interesting play. I really like this. A lot of players like to leave this until they have access to desert, but it's absolutely one of those Sphere 1 locations that is immediately checkable. So,
and it just has some bombs to replenish at least the one that you use to get inside there. mentosman does trigger on the thing here about getting the flute. mentosman now is going to have easier access to pretty much to any transport at this point.
Absolutely, he's got a huge speed advantage. We'll be looking at Kyong and Mikan in particular shortly to see whether they decide to go east all the way to Ice Rod Cave or if they try to defer it. Given what else we've seen so far, it's entirely possible that flute up to Death Mountain is their progression. So they may all converge on it pretty soon, but it's a hard play to make.
Yeah, but there's one thing that makes this whole play easier is the fact that you got the hook shot, so you have yourself access to 8 different chests.
Oh, absolutely. No, I meant the play down to Ice Rod Cave. People are
right,
always
yeah.
inclined to delay that check. In this particular case, it may just very well be the progression that we need to move forward.
Well, Mikan's not going to go ahead and let this opportunity to go by. Mikan will get rewarded with a flute real soon.
Yeah, this is a great thing for Mikan.
And somebody wants to understand what Spear 1 means. So you want to go ahead and explain that while these guys are going back through spots we've seen before?
Sure. So some people call it Sphere 0. I think the devs prefer to call it Sphere 1 because technically Sphere 0 is the items you actually start with, like the green mail. But Sphere 1 is basically the locations that have no logically accounted for item requirements to access. So the logic does not keep track of rupees or bombs. So anything that's immediately accessible via bombs, whether you buy them or not, is available. Yeah, what most people call Sphere 0 is the same thing as what I'm calling Sphere 1. It's just I think there's actually a technical definition for Sphere 0 that's a little bit different.
In a nutshell, it's just stuff you can access from the beginning of the game.
Exactly.
Mentosman going in and heading through the dark cave here to grab the old man. I'll see if that is a worthwhile play. This is obviously a sequence break.
Yeah, I think that, this is one of those sequence breaks that, regardless, it's just worth doing. Waiting on this is actually a bigger waste of time than just taking the sequence break.
So SlimKirby will be the last one to go ahead and pick up the flute, but everyone will have the flute, so nobody is skipping Ice Rod Cave, which is a good thing. Green Pendant is the Tower of Hera.
Okay.
And there's a key, Desert Palace, a glove, and a
Ooh.
red rupee.
Interesting. So, with that flute, we got proper access to Death Mountain. We actually would have had sequence break access regardless with the glove.
There's a key on top of the rocks here, and there's also an arrow upgrade inside the rock. That key on the rocks could be interesting at this point. Now, SlimKirby with 502 rupees is going to be able to do something that nobody else has been able to do so far, and that's go visit Zora.
Yeah, with him walking back down south here, I'm assuming we're going to get the fake flipper. We do have the pearl. So getting all the way to the waterfall cave is going to be possible.
Well, we're going to first go ahead and see what we can get at the hobo first. As Mikan heads over and we get the first check for Paradox Cave. There's the hammer. That's your Dark World access, as well as the key of the tower.
Oh, boy.
So Dark World access is now available to our runners, or at least our runners once they get to Shrashla's hut.
Yep. So with the Dark World access that we just got, we also can officially say that this is no longer an AGA required seed. We got the Quake medallion in there as well.
Did we see what was in the lumberjack tree?
I'm not sure that anybody's checked it yet.
That's
at least not that I saw.
I didn't see anyone do it either, so I don't know if AGA 1 is completely off the card, but that hammer does lessen the requirement of it to access the Dark World.
Absolutely. Apparently, chat telling us that there was a small key in Lumberjacks.
Ooh, isn't that interesting?
I'm gonna hope for a runner's sake that it's like a Misery Mire small key or something else useless.
It's an anxiety key, though.
It's absolutely an anxiety key. I think people often underestimate, the impact that having those locations in the back of your mind and kind of worrying about them can have on you when you're running this game. It's stress.
By the way, that hammer does open up that green pendant Tower of Hera. At least the 2 chests you can access at this point.
Yeah, we are unfortunately a couple of keys short, one small and one large, from being able to do too much damage in Tower of Hera, but you never know. We could end up with some vanilla keys here.
And downstairs we have a big key. And what big key is this one? Turtle Rock.
Okay.
And a small key on the Zora ledge.
All right, well, we've got one more chest to open here in Tower of Hera and in Eastern. We get the shovel in Eastern.
So this is interesting here at this point, that the fact that this game has given our runners 2 small keys and a big key to Turtle Rock. Slim gets a key off. Oh, Hyrule Castle key there for Slim. Not really necessary.
Yeah.
So that's 500 rupees for a key that you don't need.
Yeah, certainly at this point, knowing that the gloves are available, we're not going to need that,
But this seed has given these runners 2 keys, small keys to Turtle Rock, and the big key already.
Yeah, we're very,
we
very
did find
close. And 2 medallions as well.
We did. Yes, we did. We did find the red mail inside Hyrule Castle. We found something regarding the Tower of Hera, but I missed seeing what the text was. Spiral Cave, just 10 arrows. It was just a map to Tower of Hera, so that's information we already know.
Okay. Well, with SlimKirby activating his flute, I believe that's all of our runners with a functional flute. And unfortunately, that shovel did not really offer up much value, just a piece of heart.
Best piece of heart ever.
Yeah. Yeah, this has been kind of an interesting seed so far. We definitely haven't had a strong, through line of progression. Things have been pretty scattered so far.
So now mentosman will have the glove in just a moment. That will give one of our runners access to the Dark World. It'll be the first one who actually does have access. Mikan is in Hyrule Castle at this point, seeing if there's anything we can't find. And we do have Kyong, the last of the runners, to activate the flute.
Yep, and looks like Mentos is going to go ahead and jump into Eastern. We know he's not going to find much that leads him anywhere great, but right now at least. But it's worthwhile to go in and check this. It's a few items and relatively quick to do.
So SlimKirby's going to go ahead and grab the stuff we see on the east side, as well, including the hammer and other various things. mentosman getting the shovel. Going to keep an eye on Mikan, seeing, because that's the only runner that's investigating anything new to us at this point.
Absolutely. I think after this Hyrule Castle play, we're really just looking to see what happens when we get into the Dark World. I think with the Dark World access that we have available to us, I'm expecting us to start down by Hype Cave and grab those chests and work our way over or up, but we'll see.
Yeah, because we really don't have much access to anything in the Dark World as far as the dungeons are concerned at this point. Yeah, you can get the first 4 in Thieves Town. Yeah, you can get a couple of things over in Skull Woods, but none of the dungeons are beatable.
That is true. We are not terribly far off from starting to be able to think about Swamp Palace in the future. Skull Woods, I think, is potentially pretty lucrative, and the Front of Thieves potentially pretty lucrative, but we've also got a fair amount of overworld
to do. Mikan tried to set up the death abuse there and get Sankar out of the cell chest.
Oh, that's a bummer.
And we had to do the save and quit. Wow.
The good news is with that flute available, the punishment isn't too bad.
Right, it's just you playing this out. You got that guard right there next to you. You're about ready to do the death abuse.
Yep.
Nope. Gonna happen. So SlimKirby going through the Paradox Cave, mentosman going through the Dark Room in Eastern, Mikan about to get the gloves as well. So far, this is going to give us no new information, but as soon as one of these runners makes their way over to the Dark World and the Hype Cave, also make the way over to the bomb shop, we'll get some more information about this seed.
Yeah, now with Mikan getting his Dark World access, it'll be interesting to see whether he opts to still drop into Eastern Palace or not.
Mikan is fluting.
All right, I like
Dark
this
World
play.
access.
I like this play. I think that
I do too.
I think you're getting access to so much more, and we're gonna probably see the route up towards the north from Hype Cave, so that we can go maybe check Catfish and then hookshot across over to the Village of Outcasts area.
So mentosman now, due to the death abuse inside the big key chest room, it's gonna probably pop through the portal down here near the Palace of Darkness by the looks of things, and we get our first Hype World Hype Cave check. And can we get some hype this time around? There's some hype with the boots.
Oh my goodness.
And the big key to Ice Palace. And
not the
20
most
rupees.
Important big key, only unlocks that big chest, but still nice to know that you won't have to leave that chest behind if we do dip in there.
I think getting the boots is pretty much hype indeed here, as Mikan's going to go the fastest of any of these runners at this point. Head on over to the bomb shop, because you talk to the shopkeep there, you're going to get some information about what your 2 red crystals are, this seed. And they turn out to be Eastern and Ice.
Okay, I do think that Mentosman choosing to dip into pod at this point is a very interesting play.
Yeah, but one key in your arsenal too, so you can't do a whole lot in here. But we did see earlier where there turned out to be a very nice item inside. Could have happened again.
It's absolutely possible. Meanwhile, we're about to get that pyramid check from Mikan. This is doing more or less the route, that I was thinking we might see here.
And we can do this a whole lot fast with the spin seed, and we got our first sword.
All right. Yeah, getting that first sword, a pretty huge play here. Mentosman, unfortunately, if he decides to continue in pod, is going to have to burn that one. Do we have one? We do. It's going to have to burn that one key that we do have on opening a door that might not eventually actually be necessary. So this is definitely a risk that he's taking right now.
Yeah, an extreme risk, and who knows if you're going to get anything paid out. A key up there on the ledge in the desert, and Slim's going to head on over to Agina, which we know is just 3 bombs.
Yep. And unfortunately, just a full heart container on the bridge in pod. We'll get one more chest here in the basement. And just a red rupee, so yeah, not paying out. Meanwhile, Catfish giving us the big key of Tower of Hera. So that is definite value. I'm expecting at this point for us to end up seeing... we're going to see Bonk Rocks for sure. The question is, after that, are we taking Mikan's trip back up to Death Mountain? Yes, we are.
Kyong is taking a path through Spike Cave, which is also an interesting decision. Slim heading towards the castle. We know that's not going to pay off all that much. We get the shield out of Bonk Rocks, and we get not much inside Spike Cave.
Yeah, I like making that Spike Cave check now, though. We did get logical access to it pretty early, actually. And it's definitely one of those stressful locations, that hangs out in the back of your mind. It's really difficult to route in, so if you've got an opportunity, go for it.
And there's the confirmation of the small key in Lumberjack Cave.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that the one thing we know that can't be is an Aga Tower small key. But I'm really hoping for a runner's sake that it's not something necessary.
So Mentosman's checking Skull Woods, hoping to find something good in here. And we find the compass, that is the compass to Thieves Town. Mikan, following Insu, will head into that portal real soon, and so is Kyong. So SlimKirby, the only one right now without Dark World access.
Yep, he's gonna have to make a couple crucial checks to make that happen. I think he's just missing the glove out of Sahasrala's cave. But getting this escape out of the way early is not a bad thing to be doing. We just happen to know it's not the direct progression right now. And another Turtle Rock key.
Number 3 for Turtle Rock.
At this point, you've got to be thinking that we're going to be seeing Turtle Rock very soon after getting access to it.
This seed really wants them into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's dropping a lot of hints, that's for sure.
Great strategy there to go ahead and use the boomerang to silence those Gibdos. It's a great move there from Mentosman. Pulls away just before the Wall Master comes in. So Slim now, Slim heading back home. I think the last play here for Slim is to head on over to Sahasrala. So we'll see what happens. There's the Titan's Maiden Skull.
And actually a really convenient Wall Master grab.
Nope, Slim is heading to the back of Escape.
Yeah. Now Mikan will have a little bit easier time with that Gibdo room having a sword. You can actually get through there without having to deal with the Gyarados at all, but it does require a sword or another weapon that's fast.
Yeah, if Mikan really wanted to, could fire off the Bombos and get rid of those Gyarados.
He could. All right, and with that Titansmith pickup and Skull, we're able to take the quick route down south here. Always nice. Having to route around through those bushes that you usually use to get there with the hammer is always a little bit annoying.
And we get the map of Eastern Palace inside the chess game today.
Unfortunately, information we already had, but you can't win them all.
Right now, we have the information about 3 of our dungeons. We know that Eastern and Ice are your 5-6 crystals. Small key for Ganon's Tower found. I missed what was over there at Bumper Cave, and the Tower of Pharaoh. Slim going through the dark trying to figure out where this chest is.
Yeah, this one can be a little bit tricky if you're not super familiar with it. I know Slim knows what he's doing here, though.
Well, the problem is that you don't have the sword to stick out to help you out really at this point. And we get our first peek of Thieves Town.
Yep. Now, I think with the hook shot, though, it is actually possible to hook to the... Oh, and a pod small key in Thieves Town. It is actually possible to... There you go. To hook from the far right wall of that room to the chest, which will line you up pretty nicely.
So 2 of our runners inside Thieves Town, SlimKirby just making his way through the rat-infested rooms of the Hyrule Castle. And this is unfortunately a time sink here for Slim, because little does he know there's easier access to these 3 chests in Sarashala's hut.
Absolutely. We do get our first bottle here in Thieves Town. Unfortunately, no mirror, which would have made this really convenient, but...
Mentosman trying to set up a death warp at this point and goes and pulls it off, and we do get the compass, we get the map, and then we get the key, or rather the red mail. So now we have Red Kirby.
Yeah, looks like we're going to get another death warp here from Kirby.
And this is unfortunate here because it's going to take so long because you have red mail.
Yeah, these rats and bats do not do much damage at all to this maximum armor class.
At this point, you might as well just do the save and quit strat.
Yeah, now mentosman giving us some new information here with our first hammer pegs check. And just a piece of heart. Meanwhile, Mikan going to be doing it with some of the southwest action here. So I'm expecting to see Dig Game for sure.
Yeah,
but does have the Titansmiths, so it'll be interesting to see whether he chooses to go pick up the Smith at this time. He will have to save and quit with him.
Yeah, that's what mentosman is doing right now. Now, mentosman, because he has the Smith in tow, cannot do the digging game.
That's correct. So what a lot of players will do is, oh my goodness.
Oh, that's a nice find there for Mikan, and Slim's gonna find out what's in this one chest he has access to in the Castle Tower, and the Castle Tower yields 10 arrows, no reward.
Yeah, so when it comes to those followers, there are a few different activities that you can't do without them, digging game included, and so a lot of players, you'll see them go take care of the digging game, then run back and grab the frog to bring them with them.
By the way, did you just see what that Flute Boy drop gave?
I did, as a matter of fact. And yeah, I mean, we are inching ever closer to that Turtle Rock play. Actually, we've got it right now, assuming we have the medallion. So I'm expecting to see a trip up there real soon now.
Mentosman picking up the boots right now. Slim trying to deal with the dark rooms right now, trying to find out what's in the chest, and no reward, getting money back.
We are unfortunately short the fire rod, but with our current key count, we've got access to a decent amount of items there.
So Slim making his way over to Eastern, and finally at 30 minutes, and I say finally because mentosman had Dark World access in about 15 minutes in the seat.
Yeah, delaying this Eastern Palace area check from Kirby has definitely been a bit painful, because we know that in addition to not having Dark World access, that's also our boots access. Boots are one of those items, that you accrue that benefit in real time, right? So every minute on the clock that his opponent has those boots and he doesn't is definitely a disadvantage.
And there's the Dark World access there for SlimKirby, and mentosman will be picking up a sword. And we're going to see what the bottle vendor, rather the sick kid has. He just has 20 rupees.
Not what we're looking for there.
So Slim's going to make his way over to Eastern, which is going to delay even more the fact that at this point he's kind of full cleared this light world that he has access to at this point. And it's just unfortunate that the plays that he's made has just put him back as far as what mentosman has compared to him.
Yeah. It's there's nothing particularly wrong or ill-advised about what he's done. It's just one of those cases where it just didn't work out. Sometimes sometimes good decisions are not the right ones.
As far as the race on the bottom between Kyong and Mikan, it's kind of hard to determine who's got the lead at this point. Mikan has a little bit more knowledge about this seed, but Kyong just picked up the boots.
I think with Kyong about to get his sword, more likely than not, these two are pretty close in the grand scheme of things.
Mikan now doing the old man. I surprised him. Mikan didn't do the old man earlier, but it was one of those checks that Mikan didn't do. So we're going to get a check of King's Tomb. We already saw that from the other runners. mentosman just continuing to take this breadsmith on a tour.
Yeah, we're seeing quite a lot of travel with this guy. I forget whether mentosman has done bonk rocks yet.
He's heading there right now.
Yeah, so that's why he was not fleeing, was to go do the bonk rocks.
It's all part of routing. You want to just take care of everything while you have it.
Absolutely. In open mode and standard mode, a lot of the routing in this game is about, trying to figure out where you can gamble and what you can skip on. And Keysanity, with so many items that are necessary in the item pool, it's actually in some ways the return of overworld routing, as a real important and going concern. So definitely routing in all of these overworld locations efficiently is really important in Keysanity.
Well, we finally get the breadsmith home for mentosman, and we're going to have the same thing from Kyong in just a moment, but I guess not. Let's go ahead and check a few other things while we're on the path. And it was just 300 rupee was the reward. Slim going through Eastern Palace, Mikan checking out, and it's Ether, so goodness, we can't get into Turtle Rock just yet.
1 in 3 chance of that happening, and we lost the 1 in 3.
So I guess the seed didn't want these guys to go into Turtle Rock just yet.
Well, keep in mind we've got this Super Bunny Cave and full access to Hookshot Cave. So
Skullwood's big key, and another big key. This one for Desert.
Wow, 2 big keys and 1 frickin' cave. That is kind of crazy.
So Slim is heading to check to see what this shovel yields.
Yeah.
We'll
I'm
probably
excited to find Ether in Hookshot Cave right now. I just gotta tell you before
Oh,
he opens
goodness.
the tests.
This is the way Randomizer always works. You're always going to find that medallion for Turtle Rock right near it.
Yeah.
And there's so far 3 out of 4. Nothing is here.
Oh,
No.
disappointed. Okay, I'm revising my guess. It's gonna be in Meyer area.
Oh, of course. Why
So
not?
Speaking of Meyer, again, pending the medallion requirement, you know, that's something that we may have quite a bit of access to at the moment, actually.
So I'm checking the passage to the castle, and I thought he had checked that earlier, but I guess not. We find the compass to Misery Mire, and let's go ahead and see what's on the other side of the inside the big chest here. More money.
Yeah, pretty generous seed, money-wise, all things considered.
At this point, Slim has to go to Dark World. He's got to go to Dark World at this point.
Yeah, every minute that he delays making that play is hurting him pretty badly.
Yeah, and again, this is a case where mentosman has a lot more knowledge. Now, nobody has a crystal at this point, but mentosman has a lot more knowledge about this seed, and that just comes down to the fact that right now, I think Slim's been very, very articulate how he explores this light world.
Yeah.
Mushroom off Moldorm.
Now that is interesting. Having Cane of Samaria as well, yeah, I think this is a great opportunity to go do that fake powder glitch before you turn it in. Get the free check. With Misery Mire being Quake, we do have access, so it's going to be interesting. Kyong actually giving us our first look at the inside of Aga Tower.
Actually, Slim gave it to us earlier. It was,
did he go in there?
rupees inside, yeah.
I thought he was in Hyrule Castle.
He did both. We found, what was it? I think it was a piece of heart inside the sewers, but he did find the money as well as arrows in Aga Tower.
Okay.
So this is an interesting check here through Misery Mire. And what does Misery Mire have in store? It could have a bunch of things, and because of the way the keys are in this dungeon, you have access to a bunch of chests.
Yeah, you know, we've got access to, well, you know, we're actually, with the missing fire source, we are going to be a little bit short here. Oh, but apparently chat's saying he got lamp actually in the Mire shed, so. And there's that Eastern Palace Big Key.
Palace Big Key. And we know that's required.
Absolutely.
So the only thing that Mikan is missing, and there's confirmation of the big of the lamp too, the bow in Mire.
Okay, well, wow.
Ooh.
All right, well, you know, this is not an easy Vitreous fight, but this dungeon is at this point full. Actually, no, we're still missing the big key.
Yeah,
we're missing the big key, but
yeah, we're missing the big key here, so that's the only thing that's going to keep these guys from being able to beat this thing. But right now, you have access to a bunch of things. And in addition to that, you still also have in this dungeon. I mean, you have the path to a whole bunch of other things at this point. There's the ether.
All right, there's our Turtle Rock, so. Wow, so Misery Mire really unlocking quite a lot here. You know, that bow is going to give us access to a good bit more of pod. We are going to be able to full clear Eastern now. By going to Mire area, we've got the lamp. And we did get the Desert Palace Big Key as well. So that dungeon is now clearable. So, I mean, this trip here has done a lot in terms of opening up the world.
Yep, and the next question is one of the other runners going to head on over towards Bisreemeyer? And mentosman is going to be heading back to the village. I think we may get that fake powder trick once he runs away from the guard.
Yeah, I really like this play. I mean, it's very situational, you know, but this is one of those locations that can end up, you know, kind of haunting you for a while because we've got, you know, easy light world access to it. You know, I think it's a great idea to just come here, abuse the glitch, get the check-in for free, and now you no longer have to worry about it.
And if it's something huge, then you get yourself an advantage over your opponent at this point.
Absolutely. It's a potentially very lucrative sequence break with not a lot of downside.
And there we go. What do we get from the bat? And it's a small key to the castle tower.
Oh, bummer. Potentially necessary, you know, if that small key in Lumberjacks turns out to be the thing. You know, so this could still be beneficial, but the odds are a little bit lower.
One final chance here for Mikan. We do get a key to Ganon's tower, so not much else we can do here. Let's go see what the mushroom yields for mentosman. And mentosman also does have the ability to go check Sarashla to see what the green penny yields.
Yeah.
So just a shield is the reward for turning in the mushroom this time around. And where's Mikan going to go to next? I think with the bow in hand as well as the big key. Time to finish that Eastern.
Yeah, choosing to do Eastern first, obviously, because he doesn't have the mirror. It's a little bit annoying. It's not exactly the routing you'd like to be able to do, but
so Slim will be soon getting the Titansmith. So the next stage here for Slim is, where does Slim go? If he goes to Meyer, things could get a little closer as far as this race with mentosman. Again, none of these runners have any crystals, and at this point, Mikan's the only one who has something to get a crystal at this point.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So, you know, I mean, we've seen a lot of people doing a lot of things. Definitely, you know, I think Mikan has a bit of an edge over all four right now, and I think mentosman, just by having boots for longer and being in the Dark World for longer, has a bit of an edge over Kirby right now, but nothing is locked in at this point.
Yeah, this race is far from over at this point. Slim is going to be heading out of here and going somewhere else at this point, but Slim now does have access to where mentosman as well, Kyong92 leaving the Meyer area, so I wonder where Kyong's going to be heading to next.
Yeah, now Mikan, it looks like, had not actually dipped Eastern prior to this. I think he left immediately after doing Sahasra's cave.
Yeah, Mikan did. Yeah, he did. So this is the first trick he's going to go through here. So he's got to full clear everything. But now it's only one trip into Eastern. That's going to save some time.
Absolutely. So this is just giving himself a little bit more pad, you know, coming out of here over his opponent right now.
And the first new item we're going to get is the red rupee, so nothing good inside the big chest.
Yep. All right, and mentosman making his trip into Meyer, so we know this is going to be the play for him. So this is real good.
And I take it back because SlimKirby at this point can't go into Bisreemeyer.
That's correct. He still needs to make that trip over to pick up that flute.
Well, he's got the flute. He needs the sword.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. He may be planning to work his way around the loop to the south. So hopefully he'll be getting that sword. And fighter sword does matter for chat because you cannot use spells without the sword.
only in swordless would you be able to use the medallions without a sword, but that's because they programmed it in order to make these seeds beatable.
Correct. And even then, you're only allowed to use it when you're on one of those little spell medallions at this point. So.
And you get free spell medallion spots in particular rooms where it was required to do so. Slim's going to make the path through Thieves Town as mentosman heading through Misery Mire. Mikan getting ready to face off against the Armos Knights. Let's see what the Armos Knights have in store for us this seed.
Yep. What do we think Mikan's going to be doing after this? I'm expecting them to immediately flute and go right into pod. Having the bow, they've now got a good bit more access than what we saw before.
You got 2 keys, you got the bow, so you can save that 1 key. You got enough to get a lot of the chest inside pod, so I don't see why you wouldn't. Map for Misery Mire.
Yep, I'm pretty well certain that Mikan has the hammer jump in his arsenal, and with that, he'll be able to check quite a bit here. Kirby,
So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So Mikan now fluting away, heading up to Death Mountain, actually. Is this the Turtle Rock play?
And we did get that medallion. Nope, he thought better of it. Okay, so he's going to do pod first. I think with the amount that he can access in pod, having the bow, this is a great play. If he gets the fire rod here in pod, he knows that this is going to be a much better option for him then to go up to Turtle Rock.
And here's the ether pickup for mentosman, and Mikan heading on over towards the Palace of Darkness.
It was very interesting, you know, early on in this race, I think we had a lot of people doing very similar routing, but in the last little bit, we've had actually quite a bit of divergence. Some of it just due to time and being behind, but you know, actually a lot of different routing.
And mentosman going through here, but just only to get to the chest over here.
Yeah, just trying to maybe save a little bit of time with the key, but okay, so pod being one of those dungeons that, you know, is 10 times more frustrating to route without the mirror, but still totally worth it. So Mikan unfortunately having to run all over the place.
So now we're going to go through the Room of the Mimics here, and that's going to lead to the 2 chests that are guaranteed bow blocked. And no matter what mode of this you're going to play.
Absolutely.
And I missed what mentosman traded in the green medallion for.
Did he just do that? Because yeah, I did not see that either.
He totally did it. And apparently got flippers for it.
Oh, wow. Alright, well that's interesting. We're just a mirror away from Swamp Palace access at this point, keys notwithstanding.
Well, even if you're Andy, you're still guaranteed bow block because it's not in the logic to hover over that path.
Yeah, and that's a pretty uncommon hover to do even for players like Andy. It's generally, you know, a bit less lucrative than some of the other ones that you'll see happen.
So at some point in time, SlimKirby needs to make it on over to where the pyramid is. The longer Slim waits that out, the harder it's going to be for Slim to get over there to claim the sword, because then it becomes like a loose square.
Absolutely. Yeah, and
So far, not.
A sword is one of those things that, you know, just makes everything better. Even if you're not even engaged in combat, just having a sword while you're dashing around makes it a lot easier to dash safely and sort of with reckless abandon.
Gary's chest ended up turning out to be just another key to Palace of Darkness, and Slim trying to figure out where to go next at this point. Once again, without a sword, it's kind of a very, very unfortunate state here for SlimKirby. The fact that the sword actually is your progression.
Yep.
So we're gonna get the hammer yump here from Mikan, trying to set things up using the menu to help buffer this, and gets it pretty well. And something is missing, the big key. So mentosman getting the crystal, the first one in the matchup between him and SlimKirby. I just missed seeing what ended up being on Zora's ledge. We get a key to Ganon's tower for Mikan, and also the cane of Burna was inside the maze room.
Yeah, no, that cane of Burna doesn't really help us much, given that we already had the cape for Spike Cave access, which we've seen at least one person do.
That was a nice palace key that was on Zora's ledge.
You know, that Ice Palace key, not necessary, especially with the items that we have right now, but will make routing Ice Palace a good bit more convenient.
So mentosman is now going to go ahead and do some of the stuff that we saw from SlimKirby earlier. So that includes the trip on over to Hobo, heading on over towards Zora.
Yeah, now Kyong opting to jump into Ice Palace now. I think that is a good play. And there's definitely a healthy number of items in here that you can pick up. And if we find Fire Rod here inside of Ice Palace, that would be a pretty huge play for Kyong right now.
Well, that was a red item. Not the Fire Rod, though. mentosman heading on over.
The wrong one.
mentosman heading on over, and I think this will be the Zora check now. As I believe SlimKirby is getting ready to do the Spike Cave, so no new information given there. So the only runner that's going to give us new information at this point in time would be Kyong.
Yeah, now Mikan looks like he might be opting to head up into Turtle Rock now. So we will potentially see which of these two options. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mikan hasn't done the Tower of Hera just yet, and we know that it's actually going to be required based on what we saw from both mentosman and Kyong, but the trip into the Tower of Hera will yield the mushroom when we get to that point.
Yeah, but unfortunately we know that mushroom didn't really lead to anything. But
the green pendant yielded the flippers, which is the bigger item.
Yep.
And remember, all looming throughout this entire seed is the fact that Aga could be required.
It is definitely possible. You know, I'm really, really hoping for these runners' sake that it's not, because you know, nobody wants to deal with that, but it is absolutely possible.
And Slim now making the way on over towards the Misery Mire area. We'll get the lamp, but without the sword, cannot access the Misery Mire area, which we know that Slim needs to make it over to.
Yeah, that is not having that sword is really, really hurting Kirby in terms of the decisions that he is able to make. You know, and it's totally available to him right now. He just has to go over there to the pyramid and grab it.
The big thing is right now, this is causing SlimKirby to do a lot of what we consider backtracking, and that's something that really can hurt a runner in the grand scheme, because the amount of time you spend backtracking the spots on the map, all that walking just adds up.
Yeah, we are, you know, this is what can happen. You know, you miss one item and it just skews everything, every decision.
Slim's heading over to the Palace of Darkness, and we know this is not going to yield anything.
Yeah, unfortunately not. Well, yeah, he needs to go get that sword.
The sword is the major progression at this point. The sword is the major progression to get you into Misery Mark, to get the bow as well as the Eastern Big Key. And just a reminder that this is pretty much an elimination match for these runners. The losers of these two 1-versus-1 matches will be officially eliminated from the tournament, whereas the other two will make it into the 30-person or more play-in race happening on March 10th.
Yeah, which is absolutely, you know, the scariest place that you can be. You know, that's going to be a really good race. I hope you all tune in to watch it, because it's going to be pretty crazy.
Ice Palace also not turning out to be anything big at this point either.
Yeah, we have not really gotten a lot of value out of here. You know, we've still got Cold Stare left to check. And to be fair, it is a Crystal 5/6. I believe. Yeah.
And that very well could be the maneuver that you need to make at this point, because it could be a Pyramid Fairy case.
Absolutely.
So we got the fight against Cold Stare, Kyong going right straight to Hammer Strats, Mikan. I don't know what that's all about.
Might have been a little momentary lapse of memory.
We wanted to go to 5, not 6. So we're going to trade in the green pen to get the flippers real soon, and Cold Stare drops the magic powder, which we know yields the key.
I do have to say that was a excellent hammer Cold Stare fight from Kyong. You know, we have a lot of really great runners in this tournament. You know, they make a lot of things look easy that definitely are not. And looking confident with the hammer against Cold Stare is not easy.
By the way, good point in chat. This now does make Aghanim logistically in the cards, as it looks like Slim's getting ready to do the hammer jump.
Yeah, no, I think the one thing that unfortunately got the wrong line up there, but and he's gonna burn the key. That's a little bit concerning. If Aga turns out to be the play, the one thing that Slim has going for him right now really is that he will be able to route that in with his pyramid check, which will help him a little bit, but
at this point, even Slim doesn't have access to Aghanim.
That is true. He will need that sword, but as long as he routes over to the pyramid. Oh, wait, still no mirror, so I take everything I said back. We cannot route those things in with each other.
Well, the thing is that he needs the sword, because at this point we don't have the fire rod, so the only way to do Ice Palace is with bombos.
Absolutely true.
Is Slim making the play?
Hopefully
he is turning right. He is heading in that direction. And we know he also has to make it over to Catfish.
He does.
mentosman in Ice Palace.
I'm expecting Slim is going to be a little bit frustrated when he finds the sword here. knowing that he could have had this so long ago.
And Slim's reaction is, well, he's going to go pick up this sword because we know he needs to pick up this sword. And there's the bomb. There's a few bombs.
Yeah.
Kind of figured this was going to happen. Throws a bomb against the pyramid.
Oh, the poor wall.
He's weakening the wall for later when he gets the pyramid bomb.
Yeah, that's an interesting approach.
It's the only thing I can come up with.
Sadly, I don't think it actually has any effect, but, you know, I applaud any new creative strats.
Thankfully, he is going to go to Catfish, so therefore he will get the Tower of Hera big key, which we also know is required.
Yeah, so Slim's going to be getting back onto the right path here momentarily. Unfortunately, he's lost quite a bit of ground on his opponent due to delaying some of those checks.
Yeah, and the thing is mentosman right now, the big thing that Slim would need is for mentosmans to gamble, whereas Slim makes the gamble. Like, for instance, if Slim decides he's going to go to Aghanim and see if that key turns out to be something important, like, for instance, it could be the swamp key, for all we know.
Yeah. Now, mentosman opted not to do the Ice Palace bomb jump. Technically, with the items that he has, it's not strictly necessary to do.
But Slim is going to head over to the Tower of Hera, so we know this is a good decision.
Absolutely. And Kyong heading into pod, unfortunately, without having gone into Mire to get his bow.
Yeah, so Kyong will be in the same state that SlimKirby was just a few moments ago.
Yeah, this is really, really unfortunate, but for our two runners who did make the choice to go into Mire, I mean, it's a huge play, you know. Definitely a really good call. You know, and still, I think we are really going to be looking to see when we get somebody finally making the trip into Turtle Rock. I have to imagine that Mentos and Mikan, after finishing up in Ice, that's going to be, you know, on their mind, having unlocked it.
It could be a trip to the Pyramid Ferry, then a trip up to the mountain. And for all we know, that small key could also be a Thieves Town small key, which would really require later on. It could also be a Tower of Hera small key, which could get you that one chest in the basement that could be required.
Yeah, there are so many small keys that could potentially be annoying. Those two being the worst for sure. Pod, you know, is another one where it could be problematic if we do in fact need to get every chest out of pod to proceed. Oh no, Kirby getting middle hold at Moldorm. That is a really unfortunate one. When you fall off of any edge, you end up falling down to the floor below. But when you fall into that middle hole, you're going down 2 floors. So it's a good bit more painful.
It feels like a walk of shame at that point as Mikan picks up the magic powder. mentosman heading over and getting ready to face off against Cold Stare as well. And this is probably one of those tough things about trying to do this fight with the hammer. But Slim gets it down second try.
Yeah, the good news is that, you know, it's only, I believe, 3 hits with the hammer. in order to do that because it does tempered sword damage. But yeah, it's he can be trolly if you're not familiar with his movement patterns.
By the way, I just want to point out for the trackers, somebody has it marked on that Kyong has the swamp small key. However, he by the looks of the his own tracker on his pause menu does not.
Yeah. Now, if he did have that small key, that would be a very lucrative play to go make. But I don't
Can't even get into the
does.
swamp right now.
That's true. No mirror. I keep forgetting. It's so weird not to have the mirror at this point.
Oh,
Mentos.
No fairy either, so this is going to be a long walk back down for Mentos, and he's going to abandon the dungeon.
So the real problem for Mentos there, aside from the long walk back, is that he has no magic unless he has a potion.
He just realized it. And I just totally missed what was in the Pyramid Fairy. Did you see it?
So we had a Myers small key in the second chest. Unfortunately, I missed the first chest in Pyramid Fairy.
I think mentosman is making the trip up to Turtle Rock. I think we're finally getting that Turtle Rock play.
I am excited to see what happens here. Unfortunately, mentosman still out of magic.
But he is going to get the magic jar coming up in the Super Bunny Cave.
That's true, if he jumps in there, yeah.
Oh, he already went to the Dark World, so no, he is not heading to Turtle Rock. That is right. We're already in the Dark World, so we are not getting a Turtle Rock entry.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his plan is here. He may think he has the mirror. He may be doing what I keep doing. And I think he just realized.
Yeah, I think this has been a really rough, probably 2 minutes now for mentosman. Unfortunate death, the cold stare. And as we pointed out, the worst thing about this death is the fact that you have to go all the way back through.
Yeah, now he is fluting, so he may have just come up here to grab that magic and be heading back to ice. And in fact, that looks like what he's doing.
That's interesting, and I'm surprised that mentosman didn't just stop to spend the rupees and go over to the witch's hut, the potion shop.
I tend to agree.
Mikan checking Hobo, and we got both Slim and Kyong in Misery Mire, which is going to be a beneficial trip for both of these runners.
Absolutely. That play into Mire, we know, is kind of the really big play thus far, dungeon-wise.
By the way, apparently we know what our 3 pendant dungeons are at this point. According to our tracker, Tower of Pharaoh is the green pendant, and Thieves Town and Misery Mire are the other 2 pendants.
All right. Well, it will be interesting to see if we have to end up going back into Misery Mire. Thieves Town, I'm expecting a re-entry to, but Misery Mire, there's only 2 more items left in there that we haven't been able to get.
Yeah, and they're both big key blocked at this point.
Yep.
So mentosman back in this Ice Palace with the lead over SlimKirby, but that Death the Cold Stare tightened the gap just a little.
Absolutely. I mean, this is an expensive execution, drop here. It's a hard one. It's a hard fight. We can't blame him for it. But anytime you take a death like that, especially having to re-enter Ice Palace and not having magic, no matter what, you're paying a pretty big price in time.
Mikan picking up the very expensive 500 rupee castle small key.
Yeah, but unfortunately, of no value. Mentos getting actually quite a nice little hookshot invulnerability on that large spike room. It's actually not the easiest thing in the world to do. That thing doesn't move that quickly.
And there goes Kyong heading on over towards Eastern Palace. Mikan heading to the castle at this point. Will be very disappointed to find out that the sewers has nothing important.
Yeah, so I think at this point we're really, I think all eyes have to be on Mentos Man. Hopefully we get through this cold stare fight alive and find out what we're going to be doing next. I'm hoping for Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I think at this point the seed is really limited on the options that these runners have. As right now, SlimKirby's going to be picking up that key to the tower, and what will be the play next?
I think at this point, given what we know, the only things we have available to us that we haven't seen yet, I believe, are Turtle Rock and what that small key on Lumberjacks are.
You are correct, and mentosman having some troubles with the hammer here with the cold stare, down to 4.5 hearts. You may have red mail, but this cold stare does become quite the pain to deal with, and now switches on over to the cape, a little more of a safer strat, which I totally agree with.
Yeah, I think he's got to be very careful. Like I said earlier, hammer cold stare is a lot easier in terms of you can get it done more quickly, and that's less time that you have to
one
get
more
killed,
hit, and mentosman is dead.
This is gonna
cold
be
stare
tight.
trying the best. No goodness. Don't get bodied. That's the only thing. A little easier with the one left, but he gets it done.
Very nice. The one thing about a lot of the Dark World bosses and the Fighter Sword is, by and large, most of the Dark World bosses can only be damaged by spins from the Fighter Sword. So it slows everything down, and it makes your movement a lot more crucial.
Mikan's making the play, I think.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. I mean, he hasn't gotten these first 2 chests yet, so we know he'll be doing that. The question is whether he follows through all the way to Aga.
So Mento's going to go do the Pyramid Ferry next as SlimKirby heads over towards Eastern Palace. At this point, I'm wondering where Kyong is heading. Oh, Kyong just finished off Eastern. I already had done Ice, so now it's time for Kyong to do the Ice, the Pyramid Ferry as well.
Yep.
So we're an hour and 13 minutes in, and we are still a long ways away from go mode.
And let's take stock of what we actually need here. If we combine both of our rods, then we have enough keys to get all the way through Turtle Rock, technically.
We know where the ice rod is. Most of our runners have it. mentosman is the only one who doesn't, and that's at the digging game.
Yep. We are going to need a Swamp Palace small key from somewhere.
Yep, Swamp Palace small key is definitely on the table. We do need to find the fire rod, as you pointed out, but also because we do need Swamp Palace, we need the mirror.
Yep, and we are also going to need, technically on Mentos' side, 2 more pod keys. Now we know where one additional one is that 2 of our runners have, but...
Mikan's making the play. This is now the play to Turtle Rock.
And it looks like Mentos might be right behind him, so...
And this is an interesting play. You get 3 keys, so I believe you've got enough to make it to Laser Bridge.
We can absolutely get all the way to Laser Bridge, but we do have to skip the vanilla big key chest.
And that gets you access to all but 3 of the items, actually 4 of the items at this point. So 8 items left for play. Fire
Oh
Rod!
my goodness, and the Fire Rod. All right, so we're definitely skipping the vanilla big key chest because we can actually go all the way to Trinex.
Remember when we talked earlier about how Turtle Rock was being nagged by the items? Well, that's why.
I gotta tell you, there's something about the logic in this game. Locations or areas love to unlock themselves, and the number of times you see a fire rod or an ice rod inside of Turtle Rock, it's funny to me.
Map for Dark Palace, as well as a piece of heart. Mentosman will soon be united with the Fire Rod. SlimKirby, done with these journey, is making their way to the Turtle Rock as well.
Yep. Yeah, all of these runners gonna breathe a huge sigh of relief when they see that fire rod. So, and a few sword swipes there from Mentos.
Yeah, because guess what? Mentosman does not have that would allow him to beat this dungeon.
Yep. Unfortunately, skipping that digging game is gonna hurt him here.
Slim heading on over towards Ice Palace. And just waiting to see what Mikan finds in this dungeon. Wouldn't it be something if these guys found the mirror in this dungeon?
Oh my goodness. For their sakes, if they do, I hope they find it in a place where it's convenient to go back to Mimic Cave.
What if that mirror turned out to be the big key chest?
That would be a good spot for it. There's actually no bad spot really for it unless our runners take the safety door at the bottom of the laser bridge. So long as they get the mirror before taking that safety exit, then they can actually efficiently get back to Mimic Cave.
And these guys do have half magic as well as the cape. We can also enhance the cane of Burna, so I don't see safety door coming into play here.
Yeah, and actually, chat pointed out quite correctly that if Trinex has the mirror, that's also very annoying.
Oh, come on. Trinex with the mirror? Really? When does that ever happen in Randomizer?
I would say more often than we'd all like to believe.
I know. Bomb upgrade here. You're an hour 18. You're still far a ways away from go mode. What's going through these runners' mind at this point?
The good thing is that with the amount of completion that most of these runners have done at this point, they can't really be too terribly worried that they're behind. They've really had to cover a tremendous amount of ground to get to where they're at, and they know that their opponents are going to have to have done that too. They may be worried about an 8-minute difference depending on when their opponents went into mire.
Mikan is doing safety door.
Yeah, so if he does get that mirror on Laser Bridge, then he's going to be kicking himself a little bit.
300 rupees is not a mirror. Mirror is mirror!
Oh my goodness, wow.
And that's a small key to Dark Palace.
Okie dokie.
And the 4th bottle. So now what does Mimic Cave have?
Well, at this point, I think, we're going to go beat Trinex on Mikan's side for sure. And
yeah, you have to.
Because at this point, he doesn't get to mirror to Mimic Cave, so we go beat him, and then we come back.
You pray that you don't need to go to Mimic Cave.
I mean, leaving that behind right now seems like a dangerous situation.
Yeah, but it's still also like 2.5, or rather 2 minutes to get to where you go exit for Mimic Cave at this point.
Well, you know, I mean, with the boots right now, being able to dash through some of those rooms, it's not actually that bad to get there.
Just some painful platform rides.
Oh, not really. I mean, it's not too terribly bad. I think there are much more costly retreads than that one.
Well, let's see if either of these runners do it. Kyong is. Mental Man is. Well, one more chest to check first. Up against Trainx. And Mentos Man taking a death here. I think that was forced. 20 rupees, so nothing at Mimic Cave.
Well, that is a bummer.
And Mentos Man here, at this point, did not opt to go into Mimic Cave, but now we know that Mimic Cave isn't required.
Yep.
Oh, Mentos Man is checking big key chest at this point.
I mean, for him, not having the ice rod,
that's right.
This makes a certain amount of sense, but he. So unfortunately, the problem is that he's going to be on the hunt. Oh no! He reset.
He saved. Yeah, he saved. So he reset, so that he gets that key back.
Yeah, that is very good thinking on his part.
So the death was to bring up the save ability.
Yeah.
The death was to bring up the save ability, and then when he found out that the big key chest was nothing, time to reset and get that key back.
Absolutely.
Dark Palace, another key was on top of the Spectacle Rock.
All right. Well, with that and the bow, we are pretty well equipped to go clear out Pod.
So now, by the way, we are now in item go mode. Yes. Not yet, though. Actually, not yet. I take that back because we still need a sword upgrade.
We do need a sword upgrade, but given the distribution of things that we've seen so far, I will not be surprised at all if we end up finding several swords in Ganon's Tower at this point.
Very possible, yeah. So we're still missing the Meyer small key. We're still missing the Pod big key. We're still missing Ganon Tower big key at this point. Good kill there for SlimKirby.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit concerned about that GT big key, if I'm going to be completely honest. Not having the book at this point, the book is one of those items that can very easily be sitting in the basement at GT, requiring you to leave. And if the GT big key was on Bombo's tablet, for example, that would be very painful because you would have to forego your Dark World portal. That said, we've cleared so much of the world right now that I don't think we can possibly get trolled too terribly bad by that big key. And we did just get the silver arrows.
Is Slim making the play for Turtle Rock? Looks like Slim is.
He's certainly going the right direction for it.
And this could really catch things up, and Mentos Man is going to be very, very upset after this digging game.
Yeah, this is going to be a sad moment for Mentos. He's still got a pretty decent lead here, but definitely this required Turtle Rock double dip because of skipping this item, it's going to hurt him.
Yeah, and that really does kind of evaporate some of that lead at this point. Slim is actually in position at this point to take a crystal lead.
He very well could, yeah. Now, the flip side is that, you know, we've got very, very quick access to, for example, finishing up Skull Woods here. You know, it could be very, very momentary, and going back to finish up Turtle Rock is not going to be terribly time-consuming. But Slim is absolutely gaining back time right now.
So mentosman is going to go ahead and grab the purple chest, bring that on back. With the mirror could make this a faster trip, but I think he wants to check what is considered by the game spoiler log as cave number 45.
Yeah, he's going to check this, I expect, and then flute to 7 from here. Unless he gets the book here, in which case he'll probably walk it over.
There's the fire rod pickup there for SlimKirby. There's a small key there. Small key is for Dark Palace.
All right.
Still no big key to the Palace of Darkness. Kyong about to pick up the silver arrows. Mikan checking to see what's the checkerboard cave.
Yeah, no, I'm really interested to see where we're gonna get that Swamp Palace small key.
And at this point, the amount of keys that are in this seed are starting to run out, but we all know where there's one of them.
Yep, we do. That cave, or that lumberjack cave, which is gated by Aga, is holding a key, a small key.
mentosman checking checkerboard cave was just a map.
But we do have this checkerboard cave check here.
It was just a map.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, Mikan checked it just a few moments ago, and Mikan... Wondering where Mikan's thinking about heading to right now. Do we go back into the Palace of Darkness by the looks of things? No. Oh, that's right. We do have a key that's on the island.
This could be big.
By the way, that's a small key to Turtle Rock. That's the one that we're missing that was over at the desert, and small key for Skull Woods.
Unfortunately, a completely useless small key. Not even a convenient one to have, like the Ice Palace one.
Actually, that Skull Woods small key now makes Skull Woods completable.
No, I mean, Skull Woods was completable regardless. We just needed the fire rod.
Oh, that's right. You can get the key in the pot. Never mind.
Correct. Yeah.
Duh. So much thinking you have to do in Keysanity.
I know. It's really it's a lot to keep track of, and especially when you're dealing, you know, with these four-way races. It's quite a lot going on. And with that said, give a shout out to our trackers for these races. You know, these Keysanity races are not easy to track at all. There is so much going on, so many items to keep track of, and these guys do a great job. Our trackers for tonight are Brengwin and Ms. Metroid, and they have been doing a great job.
Special thanks for them for keeping up with this quad race and this very hype race between 4 runners that are currently 3-1 and are fighting for their tournament lives. So SlimKirby soon to be picking up the mirror, and again, because SlimKirby does have the ice rod, we'll be able to beat this dungeon. mentosman will have the desert crystal, so both these two will even up as far as crystals are concerned, but we know that mentosman is going to have to pop back into Turtle Rock. Now, the advantage here for mentosman is that now mentosman can route it, so Turtle Rock's going to be the last spot he goes to before we head into Ganon's Tower.
That's correct. Now, the problem that mentosman has is he doesn't know what's on Trinex, and I believe we know that it was nothing of consequence. He doesn't know that. And, you know, knowing that he had access to that ice rod, he's going to be getting concerned if he doesn't find, you know, other useful progression.
So at this point, Mikan finished off with Skull Woods really fast, and I completely missed seeing what we got out of Skull Woods from Mothula.
Yeah, I don't believe it was anything of consequence. But we will get the check of this one last remaining chest.
300 rupees. And there's Slim. He does mirror, and it is time to go into the Mimic Cave, which we know is nothing important.
Yep, unfortunately.
So Mothula was 20 rupees, and special thanks to the 1,000+ people that are keeping an eye on this race and are helping us out by letting us know what we're missing as commentators.
Absolutely.
Kyong heading into Skull Woods as well. And at this point, Pedestal is not even in logic because we don't have the Misery Mire big key.
That is correct.
Nor do we have the big key to Thieves Town.
Yeah,
there's
so interestingly... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
There's so easy.
Looks like we're clipping out a little bit. We are going to get this Graveyard Wedge check, which could pay out, but we're starting to get down to the point where that Aga play to get that key out of Lumberjacks may in fact be important.
I want to say that mentosman already made it over here, and I don't think it was anything important. Yeah, it was just a compass.
Yep. Yeah, that Aga play is starting to look really good. We do have, I believe, one chest that we have not seen the contents of in Pod. The vanilla big key chest, I don't think we've seen from anybody yet.
You are right, yeah. And of course, again, that small key that's up on the Lumberjack is just continuing to take a look at these runners. And if it's that small key into a swamp, it's holding up a bunch of items.
No, it looks like we did get the Swamp Palace small key from somewhere on Mentos' side.
I don't see the small key lit up.
Oh, you're right. No, I was looking at a different indicator. So yeah, we're still on the hunt for that one. I'm getting worried about that Lumberjack key. I'm starting to wonder whether that's going to be the Swamp Palace small key.
One of these runners is going to have to make that play for Aghanim. So SlimKirby about to go up against Trinex here to finish off this dungeon. mentosman back inside the Palace of Darkness. And again, this is not a beatable dungeon at this point. We do not have the big key. And this is amazing, the fact that in hour 32, we are still dealing with the Fighter's Sword. And there's still several items from Go Mode.
Yeah, this is, I mean, this is Keysanity. You know, this happens. You know, it all comes down to that one linchpin thing. And, you know, usually in an open mode seed, you find these items out in the overworld that you can visibly check, and you know what they are, and you can assess their value. The problem here, when we look at, for example, a key in Lumberjack's cave, it could be garbage, it could be the key to the whole seed, and we have no idea until we actually go claim it.
And now with the mirror, we do have the possibility of that first chest inside Swamp being something as well.
We do, that is true. You know, I guess you probably check that before you go do Aghanim, but jeez.
Like I said, one of these runners is going to have to make that move. One of these runners is going to have to make that gamble.
I mean, one of the two. You know, they're either going to have to go in there or they're going to have to just go decide it's Aga time. I'm going to do it.
Good hammer jump there from mentosman. Gives a few sword slashes at the big key, the big chest that he cannot open.
Geez, I'm just trying to think about, what would be going through my mind if I'm currently faced with the choice between going and gambling on a vanilla small key in the front of Swamp Palace, or going and doing AGA for the hope that an unknown small key turns out to be the one that I need. Or one of two that I need. Because keep in mind, we can still find that Thieves Town small key.
We could also find the Tower of Hero, which could lead to something too. Which
actually, we don't even have the Thieves Town big key yet, so we're way out of the way on Thieves Town.
It's just amazing at this point. It's just amazing how much we're missing. Here's the big key chest in Pod. It's 20 rupees, nothing.
Yeah, the seed is definitely making our runners work for it. That's for sure.
Answer chat, what is the problem with AGA? Well, it's about a 4-minute trip up to nothing. And while you're dealing with that, you've got the lingering mind. If this turns out to be one of those Misery Mire keys, well, guess what? You just yielded 4 minutes to your runner, to your opponent.
Yep, well, here goes Kyong into the Castle Tower. It is possible that he's just wanting to go get another chest here, but...
Yeah, he's already opened some of these up, and he's got the one key. He's making the full play.
Yeah, now Mikan also going.
Piece of heart turned out to be the reward for the skull big key. Mentosman grabbing that small key, and that's to the Palace of Darkness that he was just in. No, Skull Woods, never mind. So, Mikan's also making that path up to Aghanim, so... one of the things we normally do at this point in the run, Aghanim likes to throw these little blue balls at our runners. You can't throw them back at him. There's no guarantee of how many they're going to get, but it's going to be the same amount for all of the runners. How many blue balls do you think these runners are going to get before they can get the 6 orbs back to Aghanim to defeat him?
Oh, wow. We're getting some big numbers right off the bat with the 8s and the 7s. Oh, and somebody coming in with a 15, they like pain.
They like pain? Why?
Oh, 15 blue balls. That's torture.
Why are you treating our runners like this? I'm going to say 4.
I think 4 is a good average number.
Well, here we go. Mentosman going back into Turtle Rock by the looks of things, so catching back up to where Slim was just a moment ago.
Yeah, unfortunately, we know that coming in here and beating Trinex is not the play. So it's unfortunate for him that he, wasn't comfortable with delaying it until the very end, but given his choices, I can certainly understand it.
2. Stage 5, guaranteed lightning bolt. Stage 6, guaranteed orb. Still sitting at 2. That's 3. Stage 9, guaranteed lightning. Rather under 10. But it's going to be 3 on the blue ball counter.
Not a bad AGA 1 fight, actually. 3 blue balls is not terribly bad.
Okay, so now the question turns out to be, what is that key? Let's ask everybody, what do you think that key, that one small key, is going to be?
You know, before I was going to be hoping that it was not the Swamp Palace small key, because I didn't want our runners to have to suffer like that. But now that we've done Aga, for their sake, I hope it absolutely is the Swamp Palace small key.
I'm going to say Tower of Hera.
That would also work, as long as that leads us to the Swamp Palace small key.
I think at this point it has to lead you somewhere. And if not, then you got to make that gamble on Swamp.
Yeah, if it turns out to be that vanilla small key inside of Swamp Palace. Ugh.
And survey says this is the key. Just go once.
Oh my goodness.
Aghanim not required.
Oh my god. Ah, that's so unfortunate.
That's like getting the bankrupt on Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, so both of our both of the runners in our bottom race doing Aga, unfortunately, unnecessarily. We'll see if our top race runners manage to avoid it.
The allurance of being that key that could have led you somewhere so powerful when you're starting to run out of options. But where do you go from here?
Yeah, I mean, ugh.
Unbelievable as
Yeah,
mentosman8 faces off against Trinex.
I am shocked, actually, right now. But, I mean, we've gotta go check that vanilla, that chest in the front of Swamp.
That's the only chest I think we have access to at this point. It's gotta be something.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Mikan is going right now.
Mimic Cave, perhaps? I think he's going to Mimic Cave. Remember, Mikan was the only one who went safety door, so therefore ripped any
that's right.
appearance of Mimic Cave. So now it's searching through the back of Mikan's mind that the Mimic Cave has something that he just left behind.
Yeah, no, I gotta be completely honest with you guys. If this was me in Mikan's position, I would be really, really upset that this is an SRL race, because I would be wanting to do nothing more than clip through that ledge into the back half of Turtle Rock to go get that Mimic Cave chest. But unfortunately, we're not allowed to do that. It is cheating.
Yeah, and no major glitches is the rule set that is in play with these SRL races, so you can't go out of bounds at all. You have to stay based on what the no major glitches logic allows you.
Now, I want to be clear, I'm not endorsing cheating. I'm saying it's very tempting to cheat.
At this point, you're saying it's totally stressful at this point. mentosman8 making the play for Aga.
Oh, man. Yeah, such disappointment with this Aga thing. But yeah, I think we're basically out of options at this point.
Young's making the play.
Go check. Yep.
Young's making the play. Now, wouldn't this be painful if this turns out to be like the small key to somewhere else, or the big key to Thieves?
At this point, you know, it's going to be the big key to Pod, which is going to give us the small key to Tower of Hera, which is going to give us the Misery Mire big key, which is going to give us the Swamp Palace small key. Or no, sorry, it's going to give us the book. Which is...
Not quit! No, not like this! And what is inside Swamp Palace?
Oh boy.
Small key! Vanilla
Oh my god, it's the
key!
vanilla small key. Oh my goodness. Our poor runners. They have been abused by this Swamp Palace vanilla small key.
And we're not done yet.
No, we've now got a lot of chests in Swamp Palace to check, so.
And we're still looking for a Palace of Darkness big key, a Ganon's Tower big key at this point.
I mean, the good news is with the number of item locations we have in this dungeon, we could be in go mode after this dungeon. So let's, given how mean I just was being and how mean the seed was just being to the runners.
Is Slim making the play too?
It looks like he might be.
Oh, this could be huge for SlimKirby. And Mikan taking a look at the inventory, trying to figure out what Mikan is missing at this point. And no, Slim's not making the play.
Question is, what is he doing?
K45.
Okay. Slim opting to run into and have a conversation with the bomb tree there.
Not many people talk to the bomb tree. Mikan's making the. I think Mikan's making the play for Swamp now. So we are still 3 items away from go mode at this point. Three painful items away from go mode.
Yeah,
and which way is Slim going to go?
Brutal.
There we go. Slim is making the play.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
There's a big key for Dark Palace.
Okay, that's 1.
Or not. Slim's not going to Swamp Palace.
Intriguing.
Okay, so I know where he's going.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he picked up the key over here.
Not yet. He's going for that now. So no, we are not going to Swamp just yet. So we now know that's where the play that needs to be made. So now we are 2 items away from go mode.
Yeah, now Kyong did run straight to the back of the dungeon, so we do still have those 2 chests on the left side, I believe.
So 2 items away from go mode. And Slim remembers that there is a small key up at Azora Ledge. Remember, he did fake flippers earlier to go through it, so there's going to be a little bit of time here as the mentosman finishes off with Aga, and will be strongly disappointed in just a few moments that is going to be the Skullwood's big key, rather Skullwood's small key.
Yep, unfortunately useless.
So mentosman going to go ahead and tear down the lumberjack tree, and this is unfortunate for mentosman.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of, a disappointed sigh, if I had to guess here.
Probably just about as much of a disappointed sigh as Slim getting this small key that is for absolutely nothing. Argus is down. There's your sword upgrade.
All right.
Interesting thing now. Kyong could go up to Ganon's tower, and maybe we could have a big key in that dungeon.
How is he going to get into Ganon's tower? He does have to go do pod first, at the very least.
Yeah, because he's got the big key for pod. He can finish that dungeon.
Yeah. Now, did Kyong skip left side swamp entirely?
Yes.
That is a risk.
So I'm just going to go ahead and check Pyramid Fairy, and I have a fear right now that Slim's going to go do Aghanim after that as well. So at this point, I think we return the lead to mentosman as far as the top race is considered, but Kyong has the lead on the bottom.
I think that's absolutely the case. Now, we know for sure that Kyong has opted to skip left side swamp entirely. Mikan still has the option to jump back in or route back through the staircase here.
And Mikan's going to go right straight to the Argus at this point. Understandable, you've already made that move to head in that direction. But what happens after you're done with the dungeon is going to be the big question.
Yep.
So the big item for go mode will be the Ganon's Tower big key.
Too many times this has happened. But I mean, again, the thing that these runners have going for them at this point is that they've checked so much of the world that...
And Slim is going Aga.
And that's very, very unfortunate.
So all 4 of our runners heading up to Aghanim, so nobody's going to get the advantage by making the gamble for Swamp before Aga.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, I don't blame anybody for going and doing that. You know, by the time that they've gone and done it, you know, they've been sitting there knowing about that small key for ages and ages, and you know, they've got to be thinking, okay, did my opponent go and do it earlier? Is that the key?
Exactly. You really have that going through your back of your mind, is that your opponent is leaps and bounds ahead at an hour 50 at this point. And you know that the seed's been kind of trolly, but you start getting worried about where that .done's going to be coming.
Yeah, those what ifs are very powerful in the runners' minds, you know. And one thing that if you're not somebody who participates in the races regularly, the weeklies and things like that, there's a big difference in mindset between, you know, playing to place fairly highly, you know, in a 60-person race as opposed to playing to win a 1v1 race. And when you're in a 1v1 situation like this, you've really got to be thinking, you know, what did my opponent do? You know, if they made this check, how much ahead are they? And in this case, it would be pretty huge if that was the play. Unfortunately, we know that it's not.
Kyong finishes off with a Humasar. That will get the 7th crystal. There's a big key for Thieves Town.
Oh my goodness. All right, well, you know, that Thieves Town big key is a quick enough check. I wonder if he goes in there and gets some items out the back, but I don't know.
Oh my god. This seed is just continuing.
And I think
to
both
play
of our,
with these guys' minds.
Yeah, and I think both of our runners on the bottom race have opted to completely ignore the left side of Swamp.
Mentosman making the Swamp Palace play. So this could still come down to where that Ganon's Tower big key is. Let's see it in chat. Do you think that Ganon's Tower will have the big key? If so, what chest number? If not, just reply, ain't in there.
Yeah, I am really hoping that Mentos does not skip left side Swamp. Mostly for my sake, because I'm very, very curious to know what's in there.
I'm getting a whole bunch of zeros. Wasn't it you who, an hour and 53 minutes ago, said that it was going to come down to Ganon's Tower big key?
You know, I said that there was a pretty good chance of that happening, and it does not make me happy to be right. I feel terrible.
And here's the unfortunate thing, the pedestal is still in play.
It is, that's absolutely true. And just really quick, let's give a shout out to Eldai with the Twitch Prime subscription to the Speed Gaming channels. Thank you so much for your support, and I hope you enjoy the content.
And also special thanks to the people who have helped drop in some bits while we're doing this. We got another sub thanks to Helior as we go in, and here we go. Ganon's Tower big key. We still have 2 big keys to find.
We do.
Because just because we found a big key doesn't mean it's guaranteed to be the Ganon's Tower. It could be the Misery Mire big key, for all we know.
Be. Now, at this point...
There's the book!
There's the book, okay. So, you know, at this point, Ganon's Tower is the mathematically most likely location for the Ganon's Tower big key. However,
Mentosman, by the way, Mentosman is going left side.
Oh, thank goodness. The randomizer cares not for statistics. The randomizer cares only for human suffering and pain.
This has been an example of it.
Yeah, so we will see what happens here.
And there's the key to Skull Woods. Sorry, Slim. And he quakes it.
Okay, we did get the good boomerang in Ganon's Tower, so that is going to be an important item pickup for our players.
I'm wondering where Slim is heading off to at this point. Could he may think that it's going to be in the big key chest in Turtle Rock?
You know, I mean... yeah. Alright, continuing our way through these GT chests here in the little Stalfos room.
Map for Ice Palace, a bomb upgrade. And there's a small key, vanilla. And there's a red rupee.
This is nerve-wracking.
50 rupees left side swamp. And hook shot across to the big key chest. And an arrow upgrade. No. 10 arrow upgrade.
Okay, so
no.
left side swamp, not the play. So risky move, but ultimately a good call to our bottom runners for skipping it. And Kyong giving us a good showing of those blue boomerang strats. That's why you want that blue boomerang.
And Mikan making the play for Ganon's Tower as well. So this could be a close race if Ganon's Tower has the big key in here.
Absolutely.
There's the compass for Swamp Palace, not what we needed to see.
Yeah, we know it's not right side, so if Mikan opts to go straight left, you know, he can make up a good bit of ground here.
And of course, if it's not in here, then whoa. That should be interesting.
You know, if it's not in here, then I suspect that book.
There's the map of Ganon's Tower. And there's the third shows over at the other one that these guys, most of them didn't grab, turned out to be at the potion shop for the turning in of the mushroom. And Slim picking up the heart. It's got to be one play left here for Slim at this point, and that would be a play on over. There's another Quake motion here to the big key chest. Probably not enjoying this seat at this point, as time to head to Swamp, buddy.
No, I think frustration is understandably high right now.
Got a bunch of small keys for Misery Mire in here.
Unfortunately, each one of them more useless than the last.
Four chests left here in this Ganon's Tower. There's Tempered Sword.
That's a nice find.
And it's not amongst those. It could be still be in Tile Room, though.
Oh my goodness.
Slim going back to Pod, which is an unfortunate move here. He's not taking the gamble on Swamp Pit.
Yeah, now the interesting thing, if Mikan, God, can you imagine if Mikan had just gambled and gone straight to Tower Room, if it's there? That would have been huge.
This is an insane race at this point, and we still don't know where this Ganon Tower big key is. And again, as we pointed out, just because we see a big key does not mean it's the Ganon Tower big key. Mire's big key still is outstanding.
Absolutely. Yeah, and what's really crazy is with the book being our next most likely avenue to pursue, you know, we've got two choices. I think you go check the Ether Medallion first no matter what, because we're so close to it, but if somebody chooses it's not in here.
Not in Ganon's Tower!
Alright, here comes that Ether Medallion, or that Ether Tablet check. Look at that full Y menu.
Here we go. And drops a big key. It's Guinness
course.
Tower, big
All
key! And with that, Kyong is now in go mode.
Actual, real go mode. Thank goodness. All right, and with that, having done that full clear of G Tower, Kyong will be running up the gauntlet with the Tempered Sword, the Red Mail, and the Silver Arrows. So this is literally about as well equipped as you can possibly be. Oh, and powder to boot, so we're in great shape.
Mikan getting the bad news here. Will Mikan check the ether before going to Tile Room? No.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, you have to be thinking, I might be leaving here for a while to go hunt. And as Chad's pointing out, also
that's why.
Yeah, the book is on the right side.
Wow, oh, wow, oh, wow. Slim's going to come up empty here in this Palace of Darkness, which is unfortunate. The play that Slim needs to make, as we get another Quake Blast from him.
Yeah. At this point,
it's going to Swamp because this is where the Remember, winner moves on to the big tiebreaker race coming up on March 10th, and the loser will be eliminated from the tournament.
Yeah, this Keysanity tournament, it's a large tournament taking place in a short amount of time in this format. There's not a lot of margin for error on the part of these players, and so the consequences of any one match are definitely pretty significant. And with this being the last week, they're huge.
So now the question is how does Slim play this upcoming Swamp play? I have a feeling we're probably not done with the Quake Medallion just yet.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see some more frustration. I think when he gets that vanilla small key out of the front of that dungeon, I think we can expect some more fury.
Mikan grabbing the wall, so therefore does not lose his cape. And right now, mentosman currently making the path over through the Palace of Darkness. Right now with the lead. How mentosman routes things after being complete with here will make the difference. Once again, remember, it's not a cut and dry scenario here, but mentosman is currently what we'd consider in the driver's seat as far as that race on the top. And Kyong really in the lead right now, getting ready to head up to the 6th floor.
Yep. So fortunately, Mikan, I'm going to go straight over to that ether tablet and find...
Yeah, sorry, I saw the no magic there. I got worried, but never mind. You don't need magic to activate the tablet.
That's correct. You are not actually casting the spell.
The spell is casting you at that point.
That's deep.
Well, after 2 hours and 3 minutes, they got to start coming up with profound, deep thoughts.
It's a very zen thing, to have been meditating on such a torturous exercise and come to these realizations.
So Mikan getting the big key now in go mode heading up, but right now there's a 3-floor difference here that Kyong has over Mikan and finishes off the Moldorm fight. And with no checking of that final chest, Kyong will head on over towards Aga 2. mentosman is... Oh my goodness. mentosman is looking like he's about to go check Thieves Town.
Oh boy. Chat has been enjoying some book-related humor, and I have to agree with at least one person in there. I watched Reading Rainbow. Reading is magic, so...
Well, reading is fundamental. So Mentos Man still in search of the Ganon Tower big key, and little does Mentos Man know that the path to get to the big key was to head up to Ganon's Tower.
Yep. Kyong getting a few kind of trolly Agatu patterns, but making a good show of it and moving on to his Ganon fight shortly. So, given the equipment that we have here, this is going to be a pretty quick fight, barring a catastrophe. So, Kyong should be coming in with a quite respectable time, given the nature of the seed.
And right now, we're going to do some spins here to try to accelerate this fight here, and it's a pretty decent fight so far. Gets him to the stage 2 fast.
Yeah, managing to get that one cycle of phase 1 is really, really nice.
Now, what if Mentos Man gets the Meyer big key out of here?
Oh, Lord. Lord, that's about all I can say. You know, I think that it's always sad to see somebody, you know, follow what looks like a very legit path. The one thing that they do have going for them, I think, is that when they see maybe Kyong's done coming up here and then Mikan's done, you know, they may start to think this might not be a thing that's actually doable.
That is really going to make these runners nervous for the top 2 runners. And there's a 20 rupee right there. No small key, so we can't check the big key chest at this point. As right now, there we go. Kyong has finished off with the Ganon fight while we're talking all about that. And Kyong has qualified for the play-in race, defeating Mikan. Pretty good race between these two. Get your GGs in the chat.
And having walked through the door, Kyong's official SRL time for the done was 2 hours and 6 minutes and 29 seconds. Mikan coming up right behind him. I mean, you know, definitely Kyong had a substantial lead, but not huge by any stretch of the imagination. You know, anytime when you look at a 2 hour plus race and you're, you know, talking about being, you know, 4 or 5 minutes apart, this is not a huge difference.
And Thieves Town is taken care of for Mentos Man, and nothing out of there. So, well, what does Mentos Man do next? We know the play. It is to head. And again, it's Tower. And Mentos Man getting ready to head over towards Aghanim's to Ganon's Tower as well.
Mikan with an excellent triple on Agatu there. That's a non-trivial pattern to get that triple off on, and pulling it off very, very nicely.
Having a really rough go here through the second half of this fight after the triple.
Yeah.
As Mentos Man getting ready to head into Ganon's Tower. Slim facing off against Dart in the Fighter's Sword. And we're going to get the acceleration of the credits here, and maybe we'll find out what was on that pedestal after all.
Yeah, no, I gotta tell you, that's the one thing I miss.
Explosions.
On emulator is the ability to speed up those credits. Playing on console, it's not an option.
So it turned out to be explosions in the pedestal this go around. So bombs not going to be pulled off the pedestal at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
So Mikan facing off against the Ganon fight right now. Mentos Man once again heading into Ganon's Tower. There's still a chance for Slim, but it's becoming slim.
And it looks like we do have Kyong in the waiting room, so I'm gonna move him in here. Hello, Kyong, GG.
Hey, GG.
Very, very well done.
How about that Ganon's Tower big key?
The worst part was the swamp small key. That was, and the Arga Tower key. That also was so debated.
So I'm going to ask all four of our runners when we get to that point here. What went through your mind when you got to that small key in the lumberjack and found out that it was the small key to Skullwoods?
So the funny thing is, I was talking to myself going to the tree like, okay, so hopefully this has to be the skull small. No, not the skull small key, the swamp small key. Oh, god dang it, it was the skull.
You
small
cursed
key.
yourself.
I did.
Mikan finishing off with the Ganon fight and will come in second place of the four runners. Get your GG's in for Mikan.
All right, and we have got Mikan now.
Hey, how's it going?
Let's say we had quite the fun commentating this seed. That was really interesting from start to finish.
That seed was a big, stupid doo-doo head.
Agreed.
Big, stinking doo-doo head. I think that's a new one here.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Sorry for the profanity.
No, I think you're doing all right. So you may both be interested to know all four runners, I believe, ended up getting. Was it all four ended up doing Aga?
Yep.
Thank goodness.
So we were all wondering, who was going to go in there and do it, and everybody did it close to the same time, and unfortunately, everybody got disappointed in the same way.
Slim missing out on the hammer jump there as he's wanting to see what's in this big chest. Right now, mentosman and SlimKirby are missing that lovely little Ganon's Tower big key.
Did I'm gonna guess Kyong didn't take the bait into Thieves Town.
Nope, Kyong did not. mentosman did. Only was a bunch of 20 rupees and the Hyrule Castle map.
I
found
felt
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I felt extremely behind. I have so many issues with Aga Tower escape, and a lot of how the seed played out really punished how I routed. So I ended up skipping left side swamp, the big chest on pod, and then I went to GT.
Yeah, sounds like we did really similar there. I was feeling the same way, getting the fire rod as late as I did. And then I just kind of just said, whatever. If I'm gonna have a chance of winning, I need to go to GT right now.
Yeah.
I think you guys both just kind of visibly made that same decision. The lead was kind of going back and forth between the two of you for quite a bit of the race, actually. And it really came down to a couple of those choke point plays. Who was going to go to Meyer for the progression there, and then eventually who was going to jump into Swamp with that fantastic vanilla small key.
Completely forgot about it. You probably noticed as well. After I went back to Mimic Cave and found nothing.
Yeah, how about that mirror location?
Yeah.
I feel like they wanted us to have it for such a long time, and then they bury it way over there. I had a thought to go into Mimic Cave while I was there, but nope. I think
I got mirrored there and went there.
Nice.
Yeah, the only problem is Mikan ended up losing his. He did safety save, so.
Yeah. That really messes it up.
So to Kyung, you're not done with this tournament just yet. You now qualified for the play-in race on March 10th. Your thoughts going into that monstrosity of a race?
I'll play as I always play and have fun, I guess, and see what comes out of it. Really, because you can't really expect anything, I think.
You enjoy the stress of that. I'm gonna sit on the sidelines and watch.
You sound like you're relieved not to be playing in that play-in race, Mikan.
Well, Yeah, it's alright.
Yeah, you'd love to be able to race again, but it's gonna be fun watching these guys battle for their tournament lives coming up next Saturday.
Yeah, that race is going to be no joke. A lot of good people in that race. It's going to be interesting.
That ended up being a lot closer than I thought, actually, that race right there. After
Same.
getting the fire rod so crazy late, and then not doing swamp until absolutely everything else,
When you posted your comment, I was in the middle of pod and I was thinking, okay, there's probably two choices here. It's either him getting the swamp small key, which I hope it is, or it's him finding the GT big key, which I really don't want that to be the case.
I don't remember why I put that. I probably put that shortly after I remembered the swamp small key, or the swamp chest, because I had been sitting on my menu screen not doing anything, trying to remember where I forgot.
Well, if SlimKirby was going to have a chance in this race on the top, it's just evaporated right now. Slim has opted to go into Thieves Town, and mentosman now with the big key for Ganon's Tower, and that now places mentosman as the first of the top runners in go mode.
Yep. Now, I do have to ask the two of you about Swamp Palace. Both of you decided to fully skip the left side of Swamp. How are you feeling about that, given where you were in the seed and what you were actually looking for?
I figured if I had any chance of winning, I needed to make some stupid gambles about where the GT big key was going to be.
Fair.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, because you're taking a look at the clock and you're now over 2 hours, or you're getting close to being over 2 hours. You've got to start wondering where your opponent is at that point. And that obviously came into some of the play here. 186 out of 216 on your collection rate, Kyong. That's welcome to Keysanity.
Yeah.
I had mine to go mirror and check Ether Tablet right before going to Tile Room, and of course I didn't do it.
I mean, that's a hard decision to make, though, because you know that having just gotten the book, there's 2 tablets, and once you have to bail, out of the area, leaving Tile Room behind suddenly gets very scary.
I thought it was that tablet and not the other one,
Yeah.
because I would not have done the other one before going to Thieves Town.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have went straight to Bombas.
Yeah, it ended up working out okay. You got to keep your Dark World portal right there from the mirror and everything. So, as far as GT Big Key trolls go, they could certainly be worse. But man, they made you guys work for it.
I was so waiting to find the Misery Mire key to fall down from the sky there.
I saw it and my jaw dropped. I was like, no, it's not this easy, is it? But there it was.
Yeah, I think at one point we were definitely, having the pedestal speculation and the chain of big key speculation and all of that, but fortunately it didn't come to pass.
Kyong, did you check Tile Room in GT?
I did before.
Oh, okay. I was asking because my collection rate is 1 higher than yours.
Did you do Turtle Rock? You didn't do the Turtle Rock Vanilla Big Key, right?
I went back to Turtle Rock and checked that. Yeah, I did.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
Because that's a substantial check too.
Yeah, now we gotta figure out what that one item difference between you two are. Didn't one of you guys check the sewers chest and the other one didn't?
I did. I didn't even check the back of Escape until like super late.
Yeah.
I went to check the back of Escape and just walked, or I checked the dark room chest there, and then I just walked to the back.
I did the chest super late as well, because I tried to death warp and that's same card.
Ooh. Mentos,
Oh, yeah,
unfortunately,
that's
taking a
right.
fall in that torture room. Got a little bit close to that edge.
Yeah, he's trying to do the fancy strats, and you don't really need to pull that off.
You know, I mean, it's faster so long as it works.
Yeah, but when it doesn't work, boy, does it not work.
Oh, yeah, I see where the one item was. Did you pick up the shield in the potion shop?
No.
There
Okay,
it is.
I accidentally did.
So Mikan had Mirror Shield, and you had the Fireball Shield, Kyong.
Oh, amazing.
And mentosman now finishing off with the Moldorm fight, passes by the final chest, heads on over, and we were going to be having him face off against Daga 2 in just a moment. This race here between Mentos and Slim ended up being a little closer than it could have been. Remember, Mentos took that death to Cold Stare.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that prior to that, and even after that, frankly, Mentos definitely still had a crystal lead and a bit of a check lead as well. But with that death and with just the way that this, GT big key hunt has gone for them, it ended up evening up. They're basically GT apart right now. So Mentos is on Aga 2 and Kirby just now entering.
I think the big thing here for Slim was the late access to the Dark World. Had it a much later than anyone else did.
Yeah. Yeah, Slim put off a few very critical checks that cost him a fair amount of time. Including the sword on Pyramid. He got that very late relative to you guys and Mentosman.
I think Slim was actually thinking about mirroring, but turned out not to. Which would have been an interesting move if one of these runners did opt to go ahead and go out with the book immediately.
Yeah, now it's interesting he's going to go ahead and do Tile Room right away.
As Mentosman goes up against Ganon here. Once again, Mentosman, just like Kyong, hoping to get into that play-in race coming up next Saturday.
Yeah, Mentosman putting that cape to good use, making sure that he gets the one cycle phase 2 as well.
And this should be a pretty fast fight too, with half magic and whatnot. As right now it's just a formality here for Mentosman. Doesn't know it at this point. Probably thinks that SlimKirby's right behind him.
Yeah, but having a very comfortable lead at this point, so.
And gets the one frame slash on Ganon. But gets him over here, and that should be 3 and 4, and there we go. And
Great.
mentosman8 will be joining Kyong and company in the play-in race coming up next, with the win over SlimKirby to improve to 4-1. And Slim's going to be making a faster path here to get the big key. Well, once the dead rock gets out of his way.
Oh, that dead rock.
This is
Oh,
insult
my.
to injury at this point.
Oh my goodness. And just in case we didn't mention it before, Mentosman's official SRL time was a 2:23:09.
And so with that right there, we do have SlimKirby. He's going to go ahead and finish off this seed. Don't expect SlimKirby to forfeit, which give him props for doing that.
No, I think at this point, with just the gauntlet and everything between you and the end of the game.
Yeah, you might as well just finish it off. Be sure to follow all these runners, Kyong, mentosman8, and SlimKirby, as they play a lot of Randomizer, Link to the Past Randomizer, and various other great titles like that. So, for both of you runners, and this is I'm going to make this first to Mikan, since Mikan's now going to be eliminated out of the tournament. Anything you want to say as you're now dropping out of the tournament at a 3-2 record?
I want to thank everyone who busted their butts to do all the races. Like, it was insane to demand. All the stupid races we had to do. No, they weren't stupid. Some of them might have been, but not most of them. You know what I mean. But
Did
yeah,
you guys?
the restream and all that is just crazy how much volunteer work we had everyone do.
Did you guys ever think that we were going to have a 200+ person tournament?
Not for
It's pretty
Keysanity.
And I believe, based on the sounds, we have mentosman joining us. Congratulations on your win.
Oop, there we go. Thanks. There was definitely a seed where I felt I lost about 10 times throughout it.
There seems to be a common theme here.
Yeah.
Worst one for me had to have been the ice rod in the digging game, after I had just finished clearing everything but Trinex and TR.
Yeah, that was painful at that point. I've asked this question to the other two runners. I'll ask you and I'll ask Slim when he gets some of this seed. Your thoughts when you pulled into the lumberjack tree to find that it's the smoke.
Rip Discord. So when you guys got into the Lumberjack's Cave to grab that key, what were you thinking when you found it? Obviously, I think we were all hoping or expecting the Swamp Palette small key, but that turned out not to be the case.
In my case, since it was the second Skullwood small key, I was kind of starting to worry that it was going to loop me around into a pedestal for the Swamp small key. So I've definitely seen that one come up before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad everyone did Aghanim.
Yeah. Yep, all 4 runners did Aga, so nobody got punished too badly for that play.
Did anyone ever find the big key of Meyer?
Nope.
It might have been like upstairs Ganon's tower. It definitely wasn't downstairs.
Maybe.
Well, as we were mentioning before you got in here, we were so waiting for that big key to fall from the sky to be the one to go into Misery Mire.
Yeah, at that point I was fully expecting to have to go back to Meyer. I was pleasantly surprised.
Like, until that Ganon's big key fell down from the sky, it was still a possibility of this being a pedestal required seed.
Yeah, honestly, at that point, I was kind of expecting the whole chain to happen.
I'm gonna go see if it was on Bombos.
SlimKirby is in a little bit of trouble here, health-wise. I'm not sure what he's got in his bottles. He
He's
doesn't have
got
a
blue.
potion. Okay.
So one unfortunate effect of SlimKirby opting to only do the right-hand side, then checking to see what that book yields, is that Slim is going to be doing a Master Sword Ganon coming up.
Yep.
Oh no.
Now, fortunately, with Silver Arrows, it's not anywhere near as bad as what you get yourself into with Master Sword Silverwiss. That said, I don't know if he has any more potions that refill magic, so I don't know how much time he's going to actually be able to get with the cape, which will make it a lot easier.
Well, Bombos was just the heart piece, so if it's up here, I think he'll probably check it. If he's still on Master Sword.
Well, there's a small key to the Tower of Arrow.
God.
Oh no.
Probably there then.
I ain't checking that.
I can't blame you. Moldorm 2 giving him the how do you do with the hammer strap.
Yeah, so I just want to give, a quick shout out to SlimKirby. When you're behind like this and out of contention for something, it's really easy to just give up. But I think we all got to give credit to runners who stick it out and finish. Especially after a seed that was as frustrating as this one was.
Yeah, and right now the main game here is just to be patient with this Moldorm 2. You don't want to go too aggressively because then you'll find yourself off the edge again.
Absolutely.
There's the big key for Meyer.
Oh my goodness.
And there's the Quake. Okay, so now we know where the big key to Meyer is. It's in the final chest.
Mystery solved.
What a seed. Good gracious.
And so, therefore, I do have to assume that you guys are not going to go back into Ganon's tower, get that big key to check to see where that fourth sword is.
No, not at all.
So, as Slim goes off against Dagger 2, mentosman as you get ready for the play-in race, what's your thoughts heading into that big monstrosity?
Pretty much just do whatever random thing comes to mind to do and hope it works.
So to both Kyong as well as mentosman, good luck in that big race.
Thank you. I don't expect it to go well, but it's going to be an interesting change to go from 1v1s to 32 people and only one person wins.
Yes, we found out on Wednesday when Andy beat DT. It meant 7 runners are going to be 5-0 in this tournament. That 8th and final spot will be taken up by a 4-1. 30 players enter. 1 will escape alive.
Brutal.
Pop the popcorn. It's going to be great entertainment, though, for those who are not in the race.
People like the Hunger Games, and that's basically what we're getting, so.
Slim, of course, once again, Master Sword, so therefore he's going to have to do spins against Ganon because Sword Slash just does not work against him.
Doing a good job of using those setups where Ganon is only 1 tile away from the edge of the arena to get the double spins. It's a substantial speed up on a fight like this.
Yeah, then he sets up on the top like that, and therefore you're not going to be able to get double hits on him. Optimal spot would be the top right corner, but he's not going to go there anytime soon.
Yeah, unfortunately not.
Great patient fight, though.
Absolutely.
Now he sets him in the right spot, too. And because Slim was all the way chasing down the bats, or staying away from the bats, he couldn't get to the optimal spot.
Yeah, it's tough. That definitely happens, especially on these Master Sword fights. But making it to phase 3.
Yeah,
so we're past
phase
the hard
3.
part now. 4 quick spins, and then with Silver Arrows, we'll be able to make our way through phase 4 pretty quickly. So some people are a little bit confused about the damage of spins. Basically, a lot of these fights work in terms of damage classes. The way to think about it. Now, it does actually damage, double the damage.
Oh
no! Taking a fall at Ganon.
Yeah, he got hit with the bat, and the bat tossed him back too far, and it was over at that point.
Yeah. So just to finish what I was saying, it equates to double damage, but when it comes to some of these boss fights in terms of what can damage them or not, what really matters is the fact that you're actually moving up a damage class.
So what we're gonna see Slim do is he's gonna head on over to the potion shop and get himself a little extra dosage, replenish his life as well, and he's gonna give this another good go.
Interestingly, opting to buy a red potion for the refill instead of grabbing the free refill.
Hey, he's got 1,600 rupees. Money's no object at this point.
That's true. He is rich.
For the people that were inquiring about the TGH versus Pika Pals, that's coming up at midnight. They had to reschedule due to that storm that hit the northeast this evening, today rather, knocked out power to TGH, so they had to reschedule for midnight. That's coming up in just a little bit. I don't know what channel we're going to put it on. We'll figure out one of these channels, though. And it'll be on Speed Gaming 2.
All right, and Kirby back in action on Ganon. With those potions, he does have the option to use the cape to try and get in there and get more spins.
We probably won't see him do the cape until we get to stage 2.
It depends what kind of RNG he gets. I think if he gets another one of those one tile away situations like this one, but not on the top right, well, maybe not.
He's switching over to cape now. There we go. Get the double ow ow.
Yep.
And the 3 ones to remark who that both runners have a 3-1 record in the Swiss. Well, actually, Kyong and mentosman8 now improved to 4-1 in the tournament, and Mikan and SlimKirby will drop to 3-2, but still a commendable record to have. The fact that you finished above 500 against the talent pool that's in this tournament.
Absolutely.
I am like super pleased with my performance in this tournament, I gotta say. I won some things I didn't think I was going to. A lot better than I did in the open mode tournament that happened last year. And speaking of, I'm actually really looking forward to whatever the next one ends up being.
I'm sure there's going to be some details coming soon about it. And Slim does.
Sorry, go ahead, Rick.
I was going to say Slim does not have any magic at this point, so can't use the lamp there. Would have to use up, and now he gets it. So yeah, the upcoming spring tournament should be announced soon. I'm thinking at this point we're probably going to see it come a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks after the vanilla Link to the Past tournament begins.
Yeah, a lot of excitement for that NMG tournament. You know, I think it's been really great throughout the Link to the Past community with, oh no, he's out of arrows.
Yeah, he's going to have to do this now. The silverless attempt here, but Slim knows how to do silverless, so it's good that he got the torch glitch.
Yeah, now fortunately the damage from the silver arrows does still count. Ganon still does have, you know, an HP meter, so the number of slashes that he needs here is reduced.
Yeah, just Slim's got to be patient, do this the way he's done silverless Ganon kills before, and he'll be all done.
But yeah, as I was saying, a lot of cool Link to the Past action between the vanilla NMG No Major Glitches speedrun tournament, as well as this tournament and the Randomizer Spring tournament that's coming up. And I think it's really great that we're getting interest, you know, kind of flowing back and forth between these communities. A lot of rando players interested in NMG.
And Slim's got him.
That's great. GG to SlimKirby for finishing up.
Let's get some GGs in the chat here for SlimKirby, who'll finish off this seed after the fanfare walk-in. And with that, we put a wrap on this very, very hype 3-in-1 matchup between these runners as Slim relights the torch heading into the room.
I think SlimKirby does need a quick break, but assuming we've got time, he'll be joining us for a little bit.
So with that being said, really was a fun match here. It was quite the interesting seed. So great run for all of these guys. You know, this here was not a one of those kind of seeds that you could easily go through and take care of it in an hour and a half. This was one of those where you had to make some moves if you were going to get that done that fast.
Yeah, it was kind of a jerk, honestly, I think.
The beginning of it was real nice. It's just, you know, the middle and all the way through the end.
Yeah, the flute super early. Well, I mean, if you went that way, and then the boots weren't too long after that, I think.
Yeah, that does bring up an interesting thing for mentosman. What made you decide to go through the South Shore area first before you went to town?
I'll pretty often end up doing like Uncle to Escape and then Sanctuary to Houlihan and do that. But since I got that 50 rupees in Link's chest, I figured, might as well head straight down here, see if I can get something that gives me a little bit of an edge. And there's a flute.
Oh, did
Which
you
gave
buy...
you...
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna ask, did you like buy bombs at the lake shop and then just go to Mini Moldorm from there?
Yeah, I went straight from Link's house to the bomb shop right there, and then down to damn Mini Moldorm and Ice Rod from there.
What the heck? That's crazy. Nice.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool route. Mostly because in Keysanity, when you clear all those initial locations, you usually already get Dark World access. So you can like leave Kakariko for last and instantly jump into Dark World from there.
And the interesting thing about what the routing there for mentosman was the fact that he could activate the flute on his first trip to Kakariko.
Yeah, Kakariko has flute, has bottle, has potentially powder, all these things that you may want to postpone, even though Kakariko has a ton of items. If we can do all of that in one trip, it's pretty good as well.
And welcome SlimKirby to the conversation. GG.
Hey guys, GG. Especially to you, mentosman. Good luck in the tiebreaker.
Thank you, GG to you too. Seems like it was probably pretty close throughout from what I understand.
Well, I'm glad it was close throughout. Kind of fell apart there at the end, but yeah. I'll have to get more details about that, I guess.
I think
one thing that was... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Rick.
Go ahead. Nope, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, one thing that was really interesting watching you slam, there were just a few location checks that you ended up putting off for quite a while. And you recovered really well, actually, from the difference there. But a big one was not going and getting that sword on the pyramid for quite a while. How are you feeling when you found that?
A little disappointed in myself because when this tournament started, I kind of was trying to get into the habit of checking that before going to Palace of Darkness. And I just did not do that this time, so I'll definitely need to keep training myself to do that. So yeah, that was a little discouraging. Honestly, like, I don't really mind, like, having, like, fighter sword that late. I can generally get through a lot of the game pretty well without a sword. It just, at that point, like, you really needed it to kind of progress at that point.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's the big thing, was that this seed required that sword for you to get your progression because of the items that were in Misery Mire.
Yeah, definitely.
And one other thing that really was struck out was how late you put off getting to Sarashala's hut. You were the last of the four runners to have Dark World access.
I'm not surprised, because I literally was trying to be very, very thorough, almost too thorough. So that really kind of just, I think, really kind of put me behind there, especially at the end. For this race in general, I think probably, yeah, during the middle is when I really felt like I was kind of on point and really gaining ground, but then just kind of at the beginning was really slow, and then just like I just fell apart at the end there looking for that vanilla small key.
Yeah, well, you'll be glad to know everybody got trolled pretty hard by that vanilla swamp key, and everybody took the aga bait as well for the key on lumberjacks.
Yeah, so as I asked all the other three runners, what went through your mind when you picked up the good old skull key out of the lumberjack tree?
Well, okay, and this might be kind of unique because I might be the only runner that kind of had this happen to him. I'm gonna be honest, the chat in IRC kind of threw me off quite a bit because I was assuming that, oh, okay, so this is gonna be an Aghanim play, so I ended up not checking Swamp because of that.
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I'm sorry.
So yeah, that really kind of threw me off. Just kind of just seeing like it made it seem like it was more trolly than it actually was, and that was also another reason why I went to Thieves Town before I went to Ganon's Tower, because I would have just gone there straight there. So I mean, I don't blame you guys for that. Like it's like something that I should also not like. I should not like let the chatter get to me either. But that's just kind of what was going through my mind right there. So it forced me down that Aghanim path, and then when that didn't pay off, I was like, well, okay, well, maybe that Turtle Rock small key is where I need to go. And then I went up there, and then there was nothing there in the lava chest, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, great, it's vanilla small key, isn't it?
And
It just goes to show how much of every little piece of information that you get can change the way that you're playing, whether it's in the game or in the meta game or outside. And so yeah, that's a rough thing, when you get something that just tweaks your decision making a little bit.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. And like, I mean, that can honestly like help. That's a really, I think, a viable strategy, especially when you get to like big like open races and weekly races and stuff like that. If you want to have like a good finish, you can kind of use like an opponent's fast finish to kind of give you an idea of how the seed's going to go. But for these kind of smaller races, yeah, you probably should just kind of just focus on like yourself and not really focus on what other people is doing. So again, I kind of consider that more of a mistake on my part for just not sticking to that and not sticking to my guns and kind of just trying to metagame when I didn't have to. So, like, at the end of the day, as rough as this was for me, like, I'm not disappointed because I lost, because it was just, again, really bad decisions on my part.
And so with that, of course, you dropped to 3-2, and therefore that eliminates you. So as you're now leaving the tournament, not as a person that's working on this tournament, because you're still going to be working as a tracking leader behind the scenes, as well as doing commentary and tracking for us. But obviously, as a player, you're done with the tournament. Anyone you want to thank? Anyone you want to give your regards to in regards to this tournament?
Well, first of all, obviously, I want to thank everyone involved, whether it's like, the admins, all the commentators, all the restreamers, all the trackers, everyone who put all of this together, which is just insane that so many matches got through, and like the Speed Gaming channels and the ALTTPR randomizer channels, all of that, like, there were like so many matches that had to be set up for, and it's amazing the amount of work that went into kind of getting all of that together. So major thanks to everyone there for kind of doing all of that. Also major thanks to all of the people of Puddle Plains HD, one of the communities I'm a part of, for just kind of cheering me on throughout this tournament run, giving me a lot of support and encouragement. A lot of thanks goes to them. Of course, thanks to the In the Name of DT's Discord for kind of helping me practice on the side with a lot of group races and everything. So, yeah, just a lot of people who have just made this tournament run for me a lot of fun. And of course, Christos Owen for getting me in Randomizer and having quite literally one of my most favorite matches last week. Like, that was seriously my favorite tournament match of all time, and it was so great to race someone, get the chance to have a race like that in this tournament. So, yeah, that's pretty much all of my thanks.
And we'll definitely see you in the commentary booth, so GG, pal.
Thank you very much, Rick.
All right, anything we want to add here? Because we got to get going. We got a Super Metroid race coming up in just 3 minutes. So anything you guys want to add before we wrap things up?
Video games are cool, though this specific one was kind of a jerk.
Well said.
I think it's the best way of saying it. All right, now for Fiesel and the crew here, also for our trackers, special thanks to both of them who've been working well behind the scenes for us, for Emo Cero, and for everybody else who's been involved with this race, for the runners as well. I'm Adirondack Rick. Emo Cero, you get the last word.
All right. Well, thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to everybody who worked on it. And special thanks to our runners who did an amazing job playing through a not so amazing seed. So GG to the winners, but really good job to everybody for sticking it out and finishing a really, really frustrating seed.
And with that, we send you on over to Super Metroid, coming up next here on Speed Gaming. Andrew versus Sloders in their multi-category tournament. So take it away, guys.